Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we'll read from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 10, Opulences of the Supreme or Absolute. Text number 6. Maharshaya saptapurve shattvaro manavastaka madbhavam manasa jata yesham lokayima prajaha. The 7 great sages and before them the 4 other great sages and the Manus, progenitors of mankind, are born out of my mind, and all creatures in these planets descend from them. Lord is giving a genealogical synopsis of the universal population. Brahma is the original creature born out of the energy of the Supreme Lord, known as a Hiranyagarbha. And from Brahma, all the 7 great sages and before them 4 other great sages named Sanak, Sananda, Sanatan, and Sanat Kumar, and the 14 Manus are manifest. All these 25 great sages are known as the patriarchs of the living entities all over the universe. There are innumerable universes and innumerable planets within each universe. And each planet is a full of population of different varieties. All of them are born of these 25 patriarchs. Brahma underwent penances for 1000 years of the demigods before he realized by the grace of Krishna how to create. Then from Brahma, Sanak, Sananda, Sanatan, and Sanat Kumar came out. Then Rudra, and then 7 sages. And in this way, all the Brahmanas and Kshatriyas are born out of the energy of the Supreme Personality of God. Brahma is known as a Pitamaha, the grandfather, and Krishna is known as Prapitamaha, the father of the grandfather. That is stated in the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, text number 39. Vayuryamo agnirvaruna shashankaha prajapatisvam prajapatimah prapitamahascha namo namaste susahastra krutva Umamsha bhuyo api namo namaste. It's in the prayers offered by Arjuna to Lord Krishna. There he claims that he is the Prapitama. Going further to the next verse. Etam vibhuti yogam cha mama yo vedya tatvata so vikalpena yogena yujyate natra samshayaha. He who knows in truth this glory and power of mind engages in unalloyed devotional service. Of this there is no doubt. The highest summit of spiritual perfection is knowledge of the Supreme Personality of God. Unless one is firmly convinced of the different opulences of the Supreme Lord, he cannot engage in a devotional service. Generally, people know that God is great, but they do not know in detail how God is great. Here are the details. If one knows factually how God is great, then naturally he becomes a surrendered soul and engage himself in the devotional service of the Lord. When one factually knows the opulences of the Supreme, there is no alternative but to surrender to Him. This factual knowledge can be known from the description in Srimad Bhagavata and Bhagavad Gita and similar literatures. In the administration of this universe, there are many demigods distributed throughout the planetary system, and the chief of them are Brahma, Lord Shiva, and the four great Kumaras and other patriarchs. There are many forefathers of the populations of the universe, and all of them are born of the Supreme Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of a God. Krishna is the original forefather of all the forefathers. These are some of the opulences of the Supreme Lord. When one is firmly convinced of them, he accepts Krishna with a great faith and without any doubt. And he engages in a devotional service. All this particular knowledge is required in order to increase one's interest in the loving devotional service of the Lord. One should not neglect to understand fully how great Krishna is. For by knowing the greatness of Krishna, one will be able to be fixed in sincere devotional service. He who knows in truth this glory and power of mind engages in unalloyed devotional service. Of this there is no doubt. That's why Brahma in his prayers, in the first verse itself, he says that who is Krishna? Sarva Karana Karanam, cause of all causes. Prabhupada says if this is necessary to increase our interest in the loving devotional service of the Lord. This particular knowledge is required in order to increase one's interest in loving devotional service to the Lord. One should not neglect to understand fully how great Krishna is. And that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also says that Siddhanta Valiya Chitte Nakari Alas. Yeah, सिद्धांत बलिया चित्ते ना करी आलस या हैते कृष्ण लागे सुदृढ़ मानस. A sincere student should not neglect the discussion of such a conclusion, considering them controversial. Of such a discussion strengthens the mind. Thus one's mind becomes attached to Krishna. Prabhupada in this purport very clearly says that there are many students who, in spite of reading the Bhagavad Gita, misunderstand Krishna because of imperfect knowledge and conclude him to be an ordinary historical person. And considering that, Lord, before explaining all the opulences, he is explaining Arjuna that how he is the cause of all causes. Even all the great sages, Prajapatis, then Kumaras, all they are come from his mind. This one must not do. One should be particularly careful to understand the truth about Krishna. If because of laziness one does not come to know Krishna conclusively, one will be misguided about the cult of devotion. Like those who declare themselves advanced devotees and imitate the transcendental symptoms sometimes observed in liberated soul. Although the use of thoughts and arguments is most suitable process for inducing an uninitiated person to become a devotee, neophytes in devotional service must always ultimately understand Krishna through the vision of the revealed scriptures. The bona fide devotees and the spiritual master. Unless one hears about Krishna from such authorities, one cannot make advancement in devotion to Sri Krishna. The revealed scriptures mention 9 means to attaining devotional service, of which the first and foremost is hearing from authority. The seed of devotion cannot sprout unless watered by the process of hearing and chanting. One should submissively receive the transcendental messages from the spiritual advanced source and chant the very same message for one's own benefit as well as the benefit of one's audience. Shastra yukte sunipuna dhrida shraddha yara uttama adhikara sei taraya samsara. A person who is expert in understanding the conclusions of the revealed scriptures and who fully surrenders the cause of the Lord is usually able to deliver others from the clutches of material existence. Srila Rupa Goswami in his Upadeshamrita text 3 advises that to make rapid advancement in the cult of devotional service, one should be very active and should perceive in to preserve in executing the duties specified in the revealed scriptures and confirmed by the spiritual master, accepting the path of liberated soul and association of pure devotees enriches such activities. In conclusion, the most important thing is about to understand the glory of the Lord, because that will increase our interest in the loving service to the Lord. So in the next verse, Lord speaks about who is He. Aham sarvasya prabhaho mattaha sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. So here, actually, the next 3 verses, including these verses, these 4 verses are called as the essence of Bhagavad Gita, or Bhagavad Gita in the nutshell. Because here Lord speaks about who is He, what are the symptoms of His devotees, how He reciprocates with them, and what will the result of their reciprocation. These 4 things as clearly explained in this verses. So we will go one by one. The first verse itself, like 8. Aham sarvasya prabhavo, I am the source of all the spiritual and material worlds. Prabhavaha. Matta sarva pravartate, everything emanates from me. Iti matva bhajante mam, buddha bhava samandita. The wise who know this perfectly engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. Everything emanates from Krishna. He is Swayam Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of the Godhead. It is not only Krishna who says this about himself. However, Prabhupada has given numerous quotes in this particular purport about how Krishna is the Supreme. He says that all the Vedic literature agrees that Krishna is the source of Brahma, Shiva, and all other demigods. In the Atharva Veda it is said, Yo Brahmanam Vidadate Purvam yo vai vedam shagapayate samsmak Krishna. It was Krishna who in the beginning instructed Brahma in the Vedic knowledge and who disseminated Vedic knowledge in the past. Then again it is said, Ata Purusho vai Narayano Kamaya Praja Srijayati Upakramya. Then the Supreme Personality, Narayana, desired to create living entities. Again it is said, Narayanat Brahma Jayate, Narayanat Prajapati Prajayate, Narayanat Indro Jayate, Narayanat Ashtav Vasavaha Jayante, Narayanat Ekadash Rudra Jayante, Narayanat Dvadasha Adityaha. From Narayan, Brahma is born, and from Narayan, the patriarchs are also born. From Narayana, Indra is born. From Narayana, the 8 Vasus are born. From Narayana, the 11 Rudras are born. From Narayana, the 12 Adityas are born. It is said in the same Vedas. Brahmanyo Devaki Putraha, the son of Devaki, Krishna, is the Supreme Personality of the Godhead. Eko vai Narayana asin na Brahma na Isha na Punagni samaune me Dhyava apratve na nakshatrani na shurayaha sa ekakena dhamate tasya dhyayantaha stasya yatra cho chandogaihi kriyamana shakyadi samnyakaha stuti somaha stomam uchyate. In the beginning of the creation, there are only the Supreme Personality, Narayana. There was no Brahma, no Shiva, no fire, no moon, no stars in the sky, no sun. There was only Krishna who creates all and enjoys all. In the many Puranas, it is said that Lord Shiva was born from the highest, the Supreme Lord Krishna. And the Vedas say that it is the Supreme Lord, the creator of Brahma and Shiva, who is to be worshipped. In the Moksha Dharma, Krishna also says, Prajapatim cha rudram chapi aham yeva srujami vai tauhimam na vijanito mama maya vimohito. The patriarch, Shiva and others are created by me. Though they do not know that they are created by me because they are deluded by my illusory energy. In Varaha Puran, it is also said, Narayana paro devas tasmad jatash chaturmukha tasmad rudro abhavat devas sacha sarvatnyatam gataha. Narayan is the Supreme Personality of the Godhead, and from him Brahma was born, from whom Shiva was born. Lord Krishna is the source of all generation, and he is called the most efficient cause of everything. He says that because everything is born of me. I am the original source of all. Everything is under me. No one is above me. There is no supreme controller other than Krishna. One who understands Krishna in such a way from a bona fide spiritual master and from Vedic literature, who engages all his energy in Krishna consciousness, becomes a truly learned man. In comparison to him, all others who do not know Krishna properly are but fools. Only a fool would consider Krishna to be an ordinary man. A Krishna conscious person should not be bewildered by fools. He should avoid unauthorized commentaries and interpretation on Bhagavad Gita and proceed in Krishna consciousness with a determination and firmness. Only a fool would consider Krishna to be an older enemy. A Krishna conscious person should not be bewildered by fools. He should avoid all unauthorized commentaries and interpretation on the Bhagavad Gita and proceed in Krishna consciousness with a determination and firmness. What we were discussing tomorrow in the morning, where Brahmaji is explaining Devarshi Narad that he should preach with a determination. The same theme we are saying it here. As the age of Akali is progressing, you will find most of the bunch of fools are there who tries to put forward their own mental concoction to just prove that there is no God. And because there are fools, or as explained in Srimad Bhagavatam, Manda, Sumandamataya, lazy and confused intelligence. Because of that, most of the people, they try to follow this foolsome. So to preach those fools, one need to have firm faith in Vedic literature as well as in the bona fide spiritual master, so that with a determination they can preach about this wonderful knowledge about Krishna. Unless and until one comes to know this knowledge, it will be difficult to engage in devotional service. And in the beginning itself, in the nutshell, Lord is explaining about who is he, what is his identity. If you want to serve something, you should know his glories. If you know his glories, then automatically you will surrender. That's why Lord is explained about his own self. And most of the fools or confused people, they think Krishna is so egoistic. Every time, most of the shlokas of Bhagavad Gita, every time he just says, me, it's me, it's I. Because he is. Not only he says, but even other scriptures, other literatures, Vedic literatures, they agree that Krishna is the source of everything. So if he says, then what's the problem? In the next verse, text 9.
Yes, quick question. This contradiction where we say that Brahma was born from one of the Shiva was born from one of Brahma. And it says one of the supreme. I didn't notice that before.
See, every time, it's not necessary that there will be a qualified soul who will take position of Brahma.
Or at that time.
That time, Lord himself, he becomes the Brahman. Then Rudra, from whom he appears? He appears from Krishna. Now, in the next verse, after understanding that Krishna is everything, how do devotees worship Krishna with all their hearts? That is explained in text number 9. Machita madagadat prana bodhayanta parasparam kathayanta shamam nityam tushanti cha ramanti cha. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are surrendered to me, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss, enlightening one another and conversing about me. Pure devotees, whose characteristics are mentioned here, engage themselves fully in the transcendental loving service to the Lord. Their minds cannot be diverted from the lotus feet of Krishna. Their talks are solely on the transcendental subject. The symptoms of the pure devotees are described in this verse specifically. Devotees of the Supreme Lord are 24 hours daily engaged in glorifying the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. Their hearts and souls are constantly submerged in Krishna, and they take pleasure in discussing Him with other devotees. In the preliminary stage of devotional service, they relish the transcendental pleasure from the service itself. And in the mature stage, they are actually situated in love of God. Once situated in the transcendental position, they can relish the highest perfection which is exhibited by the Lord in His abode. Lord Chaitanya likens transcendental devotional service to the sowing of a seed in the heart of the living entity. There are innumerable living entities traveling throughout the different planets of the universe. And out of them, there are a few who are fortunate enough to meet a pure devotee and get a chance to understand devotional service. This devotional service is just like a seed. And if it is sown in the heart of a living entity, and if he goes on hearing and chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That seed fructifies. Just as the seed of the tree fructifies with the regular watering, the spiritual plant of devotional service gradually grows and grows until it penetrates the covering of the material universe and enter into the Brahmajyoti effulgence in the spiritual sky. In the spiritual sky, also that plant grows more and more until it reaches in the highest planet, which is called Goloka Vrindavan, the supreme planet of Krishna. Ultimately, the plant takes shelter under the lotus feet of Krishna and rests there gradually. As the plant grows fruits and flowers, the plant of devotional service also produces fruits. And the watering process in the form of a chanting and hearing goes on. This plant of a devotional service is fully described in a Chaitanya Charitamrita. It is explained there that when the complete plant takes shelter under the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, one becomes fully absorbed in love of God. Then he cannot live even for a moment without being in contact with the Supreme Lord. Just as a fish cannot live without water. In such a state, the devotee actually attains transcendental qualities in contact with the Supreme Lord. The Srimad Bhagavatam is also full of such a narration about the relationship between the Supreme Lord and his devotees. Therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam is very dear to the devotees. In this narration, there is nothing about material activities, sense gratification, or liberation. Srimad Bhagavatam is the only narration in which the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord and his devotees is fully described. Thus, the realized soul in Krishna consciousness take continual pleasure in hearing such a transcendental literature, just as a young boy and a girl takes pleasure in association. So here in this verse, we can understand that what is pure devotee means. What are his characteristics? As Baldev Vidyabhushan, when he gave his commentary on this particular verse, he says that these pure devotees, they get so much absorbed in the service of the Lord that they can't live without their Lordship. Like in the last line of this purport, Prabhupada writes, as a young girl or young boy, as they get spontaneously attracted to each other, then they can't live without each other. Yuvatinam yatha yuvanim yuvana cha yuvav tu yatha mano abhiramate tadvan mano me ramatam vai. Here it is explained, just as the mind of a young lady take pleasure in young man, and the minds of a young man take pleasure in a young woman. Same way, let my mind take pleasure in you alone. That's what the pure devotee they think about. Actually, it's explained in one of the prayers that is offered by a pure devotee to their Lordship. And Rupa Goswami quotes in his Patyavali that as this attraction is so spontaneous, the same attraction is there for the devotees, for their Lordship. And they can't live without their Lord. Like a fish, if you take out the fish from the water, he can't live without water. So same way the devotees of the Lord, they can't live without discussing about their Lordship. And that's why 24/7, they are totally absorbed in thinking, discussing, narrating, glorifying the wonderful activities of the Lord. And why is it so? Because they derive a great satisfaction. And what is the effect of that great satisfaction? Prahlad Maharaj, he wonderfully explains in his prayers to Lord Narasimha. There he says, even though this material world is full of miseries, but I'm not bothered about it. Why? Because my mind is totally absorbed. Tvadavirya gayana mahamrita magna chetaha. My mind is totally absorbed, magna, in Tvadavirya gayana, about glorifying your activities, about your pastimes. And because of that, I don't feel any suffering in this material world. From this one, we can understand it's not that pure devotees of the Lord, they don't suffer in this world, but they suffer more than the ordinary people. But they don't feel that suffering because they derive a great satisfaction and bliss in hearing about the Lord, in discussing about the Lord, and enlightening one another and conversing with that. See here, very wonderful words that Lord has used for his devotees. He says, Bodhayanti paraspara, Tushyanti cha, Ramanti cha. This word Tushyanti and Ramanti has like very wonderful adjectives they have used here. Tushyanti means satisfied. He is totally satisfied. So he does not need anything else in this world. So he is Shanta. Nishkama Ateva Shanta. So he is satisfied. And next is Ramanti. He is not only satisfied, but he takes pleasure in that particular activity. And that becomes very, 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 very easy to make progress in spiritual life. And then Prabhupada, in his purport, he elaborately explains that how a fortunate soul comes in contact with a bona fide spiritual master who saw the seed of devotional service in the heart of that fortunate soul. And that fortunate soul, because of his sincerity and determination, he nurtured that seed with pouring the water. And that water is nothing but Shravanam and Kirtanam, hearing and narrating the wonderful pastimes of the Lord. And then Prabhupada explains that how that creeper of devotional service grows. It pierces the thick layers of this material universe and it enters into the spiritual realm. And from there, it never stops. It goes further and takes shelters at the highest planet, which is called as a Goloka Vrindavan, the planet of Krishna. And ultimately, the plant takes shelter under the lotus feet of Krishna and rests there. Then that plant gradually grows, roots and flowers. That plant of devotional service also produces fruits, and the watering process in the form of a chanting and hearing goes on. That's why once one reporter, she asked Prabhupada, why do you chant? And Prabhupada said, we chant so that we keep chanting. If you want to nurture that creeper of devotional service and maintain it and let it grow and produce some fruits and flowers, then definitely you have to go on with nurturing it through chanting and hearing. It's not that now I have got a second initiation, finish. Now no need to go around the counselor or no need to go around the temple president or some authority. I have attained my second initiation. That's not the way. Most of the people, they have that tendency.
Yeah, that all the time.
Yeah, because they don't understand.
We start after that.
It's an initiation. It's a beginning. He has initiated you. He has just gave you a push so that you can go further. But people, they think like taking a second initiation, everything is done.
Yeah, because I can do devotional service. I think that's the pinnacle.
Problem is that they don't read. When they associate superficial. Hi, hello, how are you? Socialization. But when devotee they associate, this is what happens. They nurture each other's consciousness. They help each other. That's why the particular word Lord has used. Very wonderful. Bodhayanti. Bodha means what? He would have said that they discuss, but he never says discuss. He says they enlighten each other. They enlighten each other. That is what Bodhi is. So, this is the process through which his pure devotee they worship Lord. Then in the next verse, Lord explains, after accepting this service, how he reciprocates with his devotees. And that we will discuss tomorrow. Sorry? क्या लिखा है? आप ट्रांसलेशन पढ़ोगे थोड़ा? Enlightening one another. The proper word is for Bodhayanti is enlighten. Through preaching also you enlighten, but preaching happens for the mass of people. When enlightenment, that never happens with the mass of people. That happens with the person who are in touch with you, with whom you are really reciprocating. Enlighten. That is Bodhayanta. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.